mean, played a good game. We started off too slow. I mean, playing from behind. But just one thing about this team, we always fight. You see it from the beginning. Beginning of the season now, this team's always going to fight. Nobody thought we would have even been in this game.
First and foremost, man, just congratulations on one hell of a season. Just what was kind of going through your head on that final play?
I think on the final play, the one thing is that we didn't know it would be the final play. I think that's the tough part, right? You expect it. We didn't have success early in the game. We knew it was going to happen, not playing for a couple of weeks, I guess nearly a month. And we corrected, at the end of the half, and we had the momentum. We knew that if we, kept pressing them on, that eventually, the dam would crack open and we would be able to get that water flowing. So, I think it was very important for us to stay composed. But at the same time, we really didn't believe that was going to be the final play. I think that should start with your confidence.
What was said maybe at halftime that helps you guys offensively really get going in that third quarter?
I think I actually talked about it, we got to this point. There is no tomorrow. There is no lose a game earlier in the season and we can get back next week. We can go back to work and fix it. If we don't fix it now in 30 minutes, we can guarantee one thing, that we'll be going wrong.
This is the last game, obviously, for Cam Skattebo here. Just what has it meant to you to be able to block for a guy like that?
I think it's an honor. I think that's something that's really cool when you go back, of course, I'm an ASU alum, to really tell my kids, in the future is that, what are some people you played with that are pretty fun? Be able to put on some Cam Skattebo highlights, see their dad blocking, and Scat doing his, magical things. I think it'll be pretty cool in the future.
Is there any way, I know that a lot of emotions to really kind of process right now, but can you sum up just what the season has meant to you and maybe this ASU fan base?
History. We made history. That was our goal from the beginning. I think it was really important for all the guys to understand that. It's look how far we came, right? I know they talk about 16th place, but a whole bunch of guys that were underestimated, written off. And to get to this point, I think the reality is that we're still upset to this point. We didn't want to just get to this point. We want to keep going. But now we've set a standards that this is what it can become when you fully dedicate yourself to an entire offseason each and every day. That this is what it can become. This is the result. When you give yourself an opportunity and through preparation and hard work, this is what happens. So obviously not the end result, but the reality is we have another year. And I think, it sets a precedent for future guys that are coming to play here at Arizona State is that this is what we do. We want to compete for championships, and now we're in a position that we do compete for championships.
You may have already just answered this, but what specifically was said at halftime to set you guys on the right path?
That there's 30 minutes left. It's do or die. This is it. There is no next game. There is no tomorrow. We can guarantee one thing. If in 30 minutes, if we don't perform, we'll go home.
And who was the one that was sharing that message?
Xavion and Alford, and I think it was echoed throughout everybody, is that we have 30 minutes, right? And this is fun, right? You're competing against a great team. You're playing, as an offensive line, we're competing against a great defensive line. Is that this is what you want. You don't want it any other way, right? You don't want to go out and blow a team out. You want to be in a competitive game, double overtime, where it comes down to the final seconds, where both teams make big plays. We keep going until you get the result, and this wasn't the result that we wanted.
And as a unit, what adjustments did you guys make in the second half to be able to hold up a lot better than you did in the first half?
I think our composure. Obviously, we're prepared. We knew where everybody was. We knew what moves they were throwing. But I think the reality is that settle down. That's something that I really harp on the offensive line. Me and Lee are very similar. Is that we're just very calm for the most part of the game because offensive line, a lot of things come out of your control, right? It's certain things happen that is unfortunate. So the reality is, as an offensive line, I think it's really important for you. Yes, to play with tenacity. But I think it's important you have to be under control because a lot of things happen in the game that are super up and down.
Hey, Ben, so for a team like Texas and with a narrative around offensive or defensive line that's very impressive, do you notice right away that there was a noticeable difference between the difficulty of the opponent potentially for this game comparably to what you face in the Big 12 range?
I don't think so because I think size-wise, there's guys that were big. We played Oklahoma State, and those are big guys as well, right? But I think the talent-wise, I think they're coached very well. I give them a lot of credit. I think the reality is I was in their strength coach, and in his program at Cal, Coach Torrey Beckton. So, and along with his staff, with Castro, Gonzalez, Coach James. So the reality is that I know from a mental aspect where they're going because that's how I started off my college career as a freshman doing all the same things they did. So I knew from a mental aspect where they were going to go to, but the reality is that you winning so long and beating people, we wanted to take them to that place. We want to take them to that fourth quarter to put them in a close game where they feel like, man, if we don't get our act together, we could really lose. And I think we really put them in that place.
And just talk about the pride that you have for this team, win or lose, to be in this moment and be able to come back in this game and go out like this.
I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Everybody in that room wouldn't want to be anywhere else. We want to be a Sun Devil. I think the reality is in the age of the portal, I know things happen. We talk about playing time, things like that. But if you go and ask every guy, they want to be here. They want to be at Arizona State. So you understand that guys want to get more playing time, and that's just the name of the game, right? It even happens in the league. But I think the reality is that everybody wants to be a Sun Devil at the end of the day. Especially, playing for a head coach, the guys in the locker room, our culture. When you talk about life, there's little things, intensity, family, education. communication, response, success. Talk about being a good person. Some things open the door. All those things have been adopted, from top to bottom. So I think it's been pretty cool as an old guy to be able to hark that to the young guys. And we've been pretty proud of guys and the steps that they've taken just in these 6 months. I think I'm really proud of all the freshmen that have been able on this ride. I talk about scout team and everything like that. And you have guys that have been like Celeste Mano that has been just fighting all year because he wants to play so bad, but he just understands that people want to be here. So I think it's important for all the guys in the locker room to understand is that when you walk in this locker room, head high, of course, because you're Arizona State Sun Devil. There's nothing better in our opinion than being Arizona State Sun Devil.
And is that where, because this is a team that seems like they just refuse to die, is that where that fight comes from?
100%. I think it comes from our head coach and goes all the way down. Is that we're fighting for much more. We're fighting for our family. We're fighting for this university. We're fighting for a university that gets so much disrespect. There's a whole bunch of things. I mean, I saw on Twitter that somebody ordered a coffee mug and it had the Team Down South logo on it. Stuff as simple as that. When you talk about ESPN and things like that, where they're switching up, nobody cares. Nobody gives the respect. So the reality is our goal is to kick the door in every time we have the opportunity to.
And do you feel like you earned that respect today?
100%. I think I earned that respect, but to be truthfully honest with you, I think the reality is that next season I think it still will be some disrespect because they want to see you guys had your Cinderella story. We'll see if it's still the Cinderella story.
Ben, do you have anything to say about quarterback Sam Levitt and obviously being a redshirt freshman coming in so young to this big bright light moment? He played pretty well considering how good of the opponent you guys were facing. What do you make of his play and how he kind of helped you guys out today?
Sam played great. Sam is tough. The reality is that Sam believes that he's the best quarterback in the nation. I personally believe he is because he's not. Anybody's opinion doesn't necessarily matter because he's not even there yet. He's not even where he wants to be. I get to see the mistakes. I get to see the mistakes in practice. I get to see the bad days when things aren't going right. I get to see those attitudes. So I'm a direct example of seeing that translate on the biggest stage. So I think it's important for people to realize is that you can judge his stats and the things he does, but the reality is that people in this locker room understand how far he's come from when he first stepped on campus as an early enrolled league to the point he is now. That's not the way you want to finish the game. It's something that he's going to think about for a long time, but the reality is that Sam wants it that way. Sam wants the ball in his hand, second overtime, and having the ability to make a play. I think the reality is that he made a whole bunch of big plays. So I think the reality is that, the mistake at the end of the game, was it tough? Yes. But to a guy like Sam, he'll be back and he'll be better, and I'm excited to come back. And that's one of the reasons that I did come back, to be able to block for a guy like that.
And then losing one of your major teammates in the offensive line, front and Leaf, and you kind of being the head leader now of the offensive line going forward in the next year. What do you make of your role for this team going forward and kind of how you can impact not only the position group, but the offense and the team as a whole?
When you talk about filling that role, I think my role doesn't necessarily change, right? I know he's gone, but the reality is that I'm a big relationship person. I have a lot of small relationships. My dad always told me is that, people forget what you say, people forget what you do, but they never forget how you make them feel. So I think it's important for me to understand is being able to have that relationship so that when it comes to hard criticism to a guy, whether that be Max, whether it be Josh, whether it be Sean, whoever it would be, is that our relationship is so strong, they understand is that this criticism is coming for love. And those guys already understand that. So I'm excited. I'm excited for those guys to come back. I'm excited for our bond to be even stronger because the more time we have, the better it will be.
Appreciate you, Ben.
And walk us through, I know you probably, but that last fourth down, walk us through kind of what you saw in that play.
I really don't want to talk about it right now.
And
Something we got to see on film, stuff of that nature. But, it's football. Sometimes you come out on the good side, sometimes you come out on the bad side. Obviously, we want to come out on the good side, but, it is what it is.
And just looking back on this season, how proud are you of where you guys started and where you are now?
Like I said, just, all the doubters, just from when we assembled together in January, we put in a lot of work, it was uncomfortable. It wasn't always, bright, shiny days, it was dark days, when we had to figure each other out, in order to, get to this moment. But each and every day, these guys, no matter what was thrown at them, they responded to adversity, we fought through it. Like I said, up and down in games, team's always the same. We never flinch, everybody's always tight-knit. Yeah, we're just one team, one brotherhood. So I'm just, completely proud of these guys, the way they just come to work every day, each and every day, no matter what the outside world says, no matter, what's going on in their personal lives or in their building, everybody puts that aside, when we come in the building in order to get to work, and get the best, we can. Obviously, we came up short, but, yeah.
A lot of people had you counted out in this game, especially even at halftime, right? But did the belief ever waver at halftime or after that? How did you guys, how would you feel internally?
Belief, it never wavers through this team. Like I said, we can be down by 21 points, 28 points, and we still believe that we can win the game, on the sideline, on the coaches. It's not just fake energy, it's there, it's in our souls, we feel like we can compete. And like I said, just to see where these guys have come since January and, where we came to is just a blessing to be here with these guys.
What was said at halftime that kind of sparked you guys coming out in that second half and really taking over in that second half?
Everybody talked about physicality of that day. So we felt like, we felt like in a way we were sort of matching their physicality and not overmatching their physicality. So, once we figured out it's just our game. We just have to be ourselves. We started to make them earn, everything they wanted to get. Continue to fight, offense, defense, special teams. We just, continue to fight. Like I said, you want to come out on the good side of all plays, but sometimes it just doesn't go your way. So that's why I'm proud of this team. Because when things don't go our way, we continue to fight. Even from this moment here, we're going to continue to fight. And we're definitely going to use this as fuel, to our fire, come next season.
After seeing kind of how that first quarter specifically kind of played out, any thoughts on just having so much time off and maybe that impacting how you guys started?
I wouldn't really say that. I would say, we just have to just be in the moment, just put our feet in the ground, and just as a team, we have to, really just realize that we're supposed to be here. We earn to be here. We deserve to be here, and just have to play like we're supposed to be here, And once we figured that out, we were able to catch some type of spark, things of that nature. But, it's football. Like I said, things go good, things go bad. But, at the end of the day, just thank God for being here in this position, just a blessing.
I know it's a lot of emotions to kind of process through all this, but just if you could sum up what this season has meant to you personally, especially with everything that you've been through in your college career.
It's just been an honor. It's just been a blessing. Really something you can't, put words on it. For me, to, come here and, want to help Coach Dillingham rebuild this program and, me putting everything I have, all these guys that we have, putting everything they have into this program, and buying into Coach Dilly's culture and buying into what the coaches are saying, And for us to come this far, it just shows you how close we are and how engaged, how much we really want it, how much we want to compete, how much we want to win, things of that nature. But it's just, like I said, it's just a blessing, for my story where I've come here, and I wouldn't rather do it anywhere else or any other school than Arizona State.
Appreciate you.
Xavion, real quick.
I'm so sorry. That was the damnedest game I've ever seen in my life. Can you just tell me what's going on in your mind right now?
Played a good game. We started off too slow. Playing from behind. But just one thing about this team, we always fight. You see it from the beginning. Beginning of the season now, this team's always going to fight. Nobody thought we would even been in this game. You go into halftime, nobody thought we would have been in this game. Everybody on this team fights. We love stuff like this. So I love this team. Appreciate everything they've done. I'm gonna keep giving my all for this team. I know they're always gonna keep it all to us. So congrats to Texas, but we're here.
What was said at halftime? Because early in the game, you guys were down, I think it was like 17-3, something like that. And it just didn't look like you guys had any traction. But in the second half, you started off with a sack. You marched down the field. Like the second half started off different. What did they say at halftime?
They said we've been here before. There's nothing new to us. We played behind before. This is like I said, we fight. We know we have that grit to us. We like adversity. We live in moments like this. So that's all they said. We live in moments like this. Just like it ain't over. So it is what it is. This team always fights.
So, what does this say about the program as a whole, being able to come into a game like you mentioned where you guys were heavily underdogged in this game, and not only being able to compete, but to come back in the fashion that you guys did, getting a ton of stops on defense, forcing turnovers as well. What does that say about the program and the direction that this program is going to head in?
Our culture is great. What Coach Dillingham's brought, the players have bought into it. Nobody questions what we're doing over here. So it's like I said, when moments happen like this, you just go back to those training moments in the spring and the winter. It's just the men that you've been with this whole time working. Like, you know that they have their back, so you're just gonna keep playing for them as hard as you can. So that's all it is. It's just knowing like the brotherhood we have. We're just gonna keep fighting. we've been big on brotherhood. That's like we have brotherhood, like bold letters with lights on the back in our team room. Like, this is real. We're gonna do everything we can for our brother next to us. That's all it is. Just making sure we stick to our culture and play the way we do.
The thing that's always going to impress me is that you guys never gave up, you never quit. What does it mean to you to be able to show the whole nation that? Peach Bowl, everybody's watching, first game of the day, first game of New Year's Day. What does it mean for everybody to have seen your fight today?
I mean, it would have been better if they saw us win, but I mean, it is what it is. God's plan was fulfilled, so I mean, it was in His will for that to happen. So it is what it is. But we just appreciate Him. We're just gonna keep giving God the glory, win our losses. So that's it. Give God the glory for this loss. You know, we might not want it like that, but it's in His will. So that's what it is. But yeah, love to see.
CJ, coming out of halftime, there's a video of Sam Levitt telling you, the defense, that I got you guys after a lackluster first half, and then he brought you guys back, helped you compete in overtime. What do you think that says about him as a leader and that fight that you just mentioned in this game?
I mean, it's always great when the best players on the team buys into the culture. Like I said, it's our brotherhood. We know we have our brothers next to us. We know we have to stick to them and realize, let them know that we have their back every game. It's like no matter if we're up or down, offense, defense, always walk us over to them. We got your back. We got your back. So it's just the culture is instilled by the coaches and the players buying into it. And that's what it is.
CJ,